Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in this wonderful world of ours, and welcome to another episode of Changeling the Dreaming. In this scene, we find Sir Sam Phoenix of the Kingdom of Apples wandering the kingdom between Karnar and home fires, and in encouraging his message to be spread to all corners of the kingdom. Tonight, Sam Phoenix is on a journey. Sam Phoenix is going to pour his heart out to the people with no gimmicks, with no guile, no magic, just his straightforward feelings. He's not even going to try and pretty them up. He's going to give himself raw and whole over to the storm of emotions that have creeped through him since the events of his mission for the Marshal and his encounter with the dragon, and his constant goal of doing his best as he sees it to serve the people of the Kingdom of Apples. By doing so, he serves his lady liege, Queen Mab. And though he does not support her directly, he seeks to do honor to the princess, who is the individual who knighted him. And so we open the scene at one of his many stops. And for the STs, notes, this same message is spread for the duration of a whole night and a day, or this night and into the day. As he goes from place to place, speaking unto the people, unto those he deems a part of himself. Honorable fellow citizens of the Kingdom of Apples, I am Sir Simon Phoenix, Knight of the Realm of Kingdom of Apples. Some of you may know me. Some of you may know the things I have sought to do. Some of you may know of my successes. Some of you may know of some of my early blunders. Some of my very early blunders. Sam smiles as he says this. He intends to keep things reasonably lighthearted. For now, at least. I speak to you tonight because grave things have been spoken of throughout these past few days. Grave accusations, threats, insults, intrigues, all manner of nonsensical political silliness. I speak to you tonight not as a person in favor of a candidate, but as a servant of the people, as one who has sought to live this current existence as close to the truest examples of my code as I can. Tonight, I speak to you as Sam Phoenix of the Kingdom of Apples, Sam Phoenix of New York, Sam Phoenix of Little Italy. Some say that Lord General Baron Valerius kidnapped a member of House Baylor. Some may throw various accusations at this man, ranging from some skewed interpretation of what they see as facts. Some may even use facts to justify some of their hatred and mistrust. Tonight, I will be journeying to set the record straight. When you speak of the Marian from tonight onward, it will be with a full spectrum of understanding each side of the story. For I tell you, I was there. I was involved, and tonight I will share with you everything that I can. I vow that everything I say is as close to the truth as I can possibly make it, barring any chance of me mishearing something or forgetting some element. But I tell you, that night was incredibly hard to forget. I don't think I will ever forget what happened that night. To begin, this story begins in tragedy. This story begins with the vicious murder of the Witch King of New York, Rick the Ravenous, of the Cathane of the Redcaps. This man, while I have not known him very long, well, he has not always cared for my Cathane or myself at times, as I've seen. He was my friend, and he stopped me from possibly doing something very horrible relatively shortly after my chrysalising. In fact, let me tell you, let me share this story of myself. I give you the full story of myself in the reference of this current existence. As you know, or as some of you may know, I'm a semi-pro boxer, and I live and work at Vinny's Boxing Academy. It was on a night much like this. Not so very long ago, when I was approached after a fight. And the mafia men who approached me were intent on killing me because I would not take a bribe. I would not take a fall. And so, in a moment of prepping, in a moment where my adrenaline was at its peak, my true self awoke. My true self awoke, and I made those men terribly afraid of being on the wrong side of a troll. I defended myself. I did not kill those men. But you can be sure that those men will never forget the beat down. And they'll never forget that they should choose their victims with more caution. Or if they're smart, they'll pick a better career. But hey, it's might be giving them a little too much credit. I was found by Eternal Puka. And as you can guess, that was a rather interesting encounter. I was taken to home players. I was taken to the court where I was inevitably introduced to the Hofsteins, the honorable family that has been so gracious with me and that has, in all but name, in all but oath, in all but finalizing the deed, has taken me in and made me feel like I was one of them. My story then continues. I gradually became acquainted with Lord Valerius and his family. This was shortly after the war, and the primary conflict. From thence, after a few hunts and some gentle guiding and whatnot, I was inevitably invited to join in the investigation for a cure for the unspeakable malicious disease that Duke Guile sought to release upon the unsuspecting cultures, all for the sake of ending an all too unnecessary conflict. I was honored to assist. Sometime later, which may I add, during said journey, I was on the wrong end of dragon pox. I don't mind telling you, I was sore. My face was sore for quite a while. Ouch. From there, I was made to come to grips for something that my campaign is well known for, and that is their penchant for honor and duty and striving to do things as rightly as they can with respect to their oaths. And such like. I, being new and unaware of the strong pull of these feelings, overheard something at the time which I felt to be an unjust betrayal of Lord Valerius. And for this section, I humbly beg your indulgence, as these events concern dear friends of mine that, in hindsight, as I have learned over these past few months, quite literally, as he sort of scratches and his slightly faded red and gray beard to emphasize his transformation to grump. I do not wish to cause any misunderstanding for them. So, in this area, I will leave certain things out in courtesy to them. Needless to say, my attempt to bring my friend to Val to have them properly state their position and not do as I believed at the time a Pearl Harbor job on him. This naturally did not go well. And during a moment of anger that my friend had been feeling over the subject, especially when it came out. Especially when I told. She was very angry. She even made threats at the time for doing something involving my soul. I was still in the thralls of my dream dance period, and my mind was not as centered as it is today. And so, in a moment where my unseelie aspect took over, in a moment where I was feeling frustrated, nigh wrathful, unheard, and uncared for, I struck my friend. I punched her, thusly knocking her out. At this point, the Witch King Rick the Ravnos, in an act which, and believe me, I know he will hate me for this, but in an act of true fellowship and chivalry and respect for the changeling way, he wholly struck me, thereby sending me into chimerical death. From thence, things calmed down. Things became a bit more bearable, and I was able to get a hold of myself thanks to his intercession, hard though it may have been. For this I honor him, for this I call him friend. And his actions, and more importantly, his reasons for those actions, inspire me to this very day to be as good a knight, as good a troll, as good a changeling as I possibly can be, and to do the most good for the most people. It is for this man that has helped me so much that Baron Valerius, my friend, sent a member of his household, as well as myself, and a werewolf friend of ours to track the despicable bastards who cruelly and unnecessarily tore the soul out of him. Leaving him dead in an alleyway. We fought and we fought to save him, to preserve the life of this hard yet fair man, of this hard yet fair red cap. And they butchered him. And worst of all, they could not face him alone. They came in a group. They came wearing masks with we fought them, we wounded them, we blooded them, and we took a piece of cloth with the blood of one of the assailants on it. And a few nights after the attack, we tracked him. We tracked the individual to his place of work. A member of House Baylor, as it turns out. We met him, and we used tactics to get him into an advantageous position to speak and to try and come to the truth of the matter. We then sought, when, for the strangest reason, the facts and his words did not match up, and we feared that his mind had been modified by an alternate source, by someone who was connected but hiding in the shadows, directing this plot somehow, or perhaps using a victim, much like, if you'll pardon the expression, um, the memory curse from the Harry Potter books, something along those lines. When we knew that we had the correct person, but that he seemed unable to remember any of the acts that he was responsible for, we sought to get him help to ensure that he was not an unwilling puppet. We sought to ascertain whether he was, in fact, another victim, or if he was simply gifted by someone to hide his true actions. Also, in a state like this, we thought he might be a danger to himself and others. So we attempted to take him into protective custody. He refused. We insisted. We wanted to find the truth. We wanted to bring this very large and complicated problem to the marshal, and possibly to someone who might have enough magical understanding to unravel what must have been done, one way or another. The man then proceeded to draw a cold iron dagger on us. Not satisfied with attempting to put myself and my companions, or one of my companions, to chimerical death, he sought to destroy our souls. He sought to rip us asunder and deny us a way of being with our ancestors when we died. No, he intended the highest form of cruelty. That is when we felt we had to take things to more of a firm defensive position for ourselves. I would not allow for this unworthy, honorless swinehood, he says, as the Scandinavian accent comes to his voice. This honorless dog that would have annihilated myself, my friend, and my friend's associate in the most permanent way possible. Once we had him secured, I am certain that my friend sent a message to the marshal. Whether that message reached her is another thing, and that I cannot speak on. But the intent was to bring him to justice. That is all. The intent was to find the truth and try to seek justice for an honorable person who survived, lived, and thrived the best way he knew how, the best way his caffeine would allow. Now I find that this same person who sought to do harm to us, who sought to end us permanently and unequivocally, inexorably end us, has taken his story and is attempting to press charges against my friend. And his voice has been echoed by others. I find it funny that the majority of those who echo him are in fact those who are presumably, of course, honorable and upstanding businessmen. But oh yes, I remember. They have an agenda of their own. They don't like the fact that His Lordship General Baron Valerius has opened a market. He has made Krechny a thriving place for all caffeine to receive competitive rates. And he has, in essence, by doing this very good thing, prevented them from putting a stranglehold on the kingdom of apples and all the other kingdoms that make up Concordia. Now, one does wonder, why would they be seeking to do that? Why would they be seeking to commit an act of economical terrorism on such a grand scale? Oh, that's right. It would make Goblin Town one of the sole enterprising bodies on this side of the globe, and perhaps further. Who knows how far their ambition would have gone? Which brings me to a very interesting point. I think it is time for all of us to focus more on what we know than what we hear. What we hear is important, but if it is not backed up with life experience, reason, and understanding, it is only part of the story. So I think that before we judge anyone, I encourage all of us to look at the source. Look at what the source of a thing produces. Is it positive or negative? Are there exploits meant for the betterment of everyone, or do they only serve their own gains? Do they have the best of intentions at heart for all Cathane, or do they see themselves as the sole important entities in existence? These and many other questions should be going through your minds, our minds, whenever we hear a story. It only makes sense. The truth of the matter is, we meant no harm. We only sought justice. And I know that all of you good people would have done the same. Each and every one of you brave souls would have done everything in your power to ensure that an appropriate form of justice was done. Because in each of us, there is a hero, whether we acknowledge them or not. In each of us, there are the things that bind us, that connect us to our families and to our communities. The things that make us whole. And if we forget that we are all a part of the dreaming and by extension each other, we will not survive. Baron Valerius did what he did because he honored a noble red cap. I did what I did because I honored a noble red cap. And I would do the same to seek justice for each and every one of you standing before me this night. I'm not good with pretty words. I'm not an issue. I'm not a good storyteller. But what I've told you is the truth. And the truth, when it is the truth, is one of our mightiest weapons. No matter what anyone says. I would also like to add a final thing, a personal note. I am in love with a red cap. And with that, Sam will give a polite bow and shake hands with all of the people that are standing by him. If there are any that would wish to journey with him as he tells this same story to other communities, they may do so. And he would be right glad for the company. I am. And as he leaves the town that he's in, when he says his speech, he says, I am ever and always your humble servant. And with that, Sam and any of his followers leave the town, traveling together to spread the message, to spread the truth, and most of all, to ensure the honorable Baron Valerius that he is not alone, and he is not friendless. And with that, we end our scene. Good night.